Hey guys, it's Britt and welcome back to my channel. Happy Friday. Today I'm sharing with you our cornbread sausage stuffing. This is so fun to make and interesting, different for Thanksgiving. So if you're somebody who wants to try something that maybe is outside of the box, definitely give this recipe a try. Also, if you love cornbread and just you can mix up all the different ingredients in it. I'll tell you guys at the end if you want to add mushrooms or greens. We added red onions to ours. There's so many different ideas, but this is definitely what will be on our Thanksgiving menu. I especially like this with some kind of gravy on top. So if you make it, we also have a gravy recipe, which I will link up above. It's perfect paired with that. Also, this recipe gets nice and like crispy on top, and then the inside of it is still kind of packed together and definitely soft. So I hope you guys will give this a try. We just adore it, and you can change it up in so many different ways. You can add mushrooms to this or greens. We put in red onion. It's just so many different possibilities. So I will jump into the video. There is a couple parts that you have to bake ahead of time, but it's super fun to get your kids involved because you kind of crumble the cornbread and the sausage, and it's just a really awesome, simple recipe. So I hope you guys will enjoy it. I'll see you guys at the end. Jumping into today's video. So this is kind of a 4-part recipe. Most of our recipes are super straightforward. This is a tiny little bit complicated. I promise you it's still easy and you can still do it. It's really just a fantastic stuffing recipe for Thanksgiving or anytime you have family over. So right now what I'm doing is I'm making our cornbread, and this is a cornbread stuffing. So you're just going to cook the cornbread. You can do it in muffins. You can do it as I made mine just in a round pan. You can do it in a square pan. It doesn't really matter because we're going to crumble it up in the end anyway. So just keep that in mind before you make it. This is all going to get crumbled into our stuffing. So I'm just going through the recipe. We have a whole video on it. I will link it up above. This really is like 2 of my recipes that have kind of married together to make this stuffing. So I love it because I love both of these recipes. Alright, so we're just kind of, this doesn't take long, you know, it only looks like it takes long because I'm filming it for you guys, but really I actually made 2 cornbreads that day, one for us just to have as cornbread and then one for this recipe, and it's just super simple and easy. Alright, that's pretty much it for the batter, so just make sure you whip it all together. You really want to make the cornmeal dissolve and really kind of nicely combined everything. And then just find a pan. We use silicone pans. I have them linked in our Amazon shop. It's really easy if you're doing no oil baking, and I also will use parchment paper if we don't have that. So you want to use some kind of parchment paper or silicone pan. Do not stick this in a regular just pie pan or something like that. It'll make a mess. So that's a little warning disclaimer. You can see I have mine here, my very beloved silicone pan. Alright, move the batter over, bake it. All of the measurements for all of these is down in our description box down below. I have a printable PDF that walks you through how to make it. There's 4 parts. I put it all in there, and it's on our website. So make sure you check that out. I would tell you all of the ingredients on this video, but most times I will misspeak and say teaspoon for tablespoon and tablespoon for teaspoon or something like that, and then I get a million comments. So it's just easier just to kind of walk you through it, have a little chat, and then just give you the recipe. So people aren't like, wait, is it right in the video or is it right in the recipe? It's right in the recipe. Alright, so smooth it all out. It doesn't really even matter because again, you're going to crumble it, so it doesn't have to look pretty. I spent a little bit of time here making it look pretty, but it doesn't even matter in the end. Okay, stick that in the oven. Part 1 is complete. Super simple and easy. And again, this is just a great cornbread. If you like cornbread, definitely make this. We usually make them as muffins. And again, we have a video on it. Alright, part 2 is making our breakfast sausage patties. But instead of making them patties, we're going to make them crumbles, which I often do when we have kind of like crumbled tofu for breakfast. I will make the sausage crumbles like I'm going to do here, and they are so good together. So in 1 can of black beans, We have a flax egg, super simple and easy. Again, this is just following the sausage patty recipe, which I will link above. And I have some seasonings. I use this seasoning from Amazon. It's called sausage seasoning. I show you right here. It's no salt. It's amazing. I don't know if other grocery stores carry it, but if you can find a salt-free sausage seasoning, give it a whirl. It's awesome. So in goes a generous amount of that, and we are pretty much just gonna put in some oats and whisk, food processor it, and then I'll show you guys how we do our crumbles. Super simple and easy. This is part 2. And I'm lucky to have 2. I have a Breville oven and I have my regular oven. So one was busy in the Breville, one was busy in the regular oven here. Because there's like 2 parts you have to bake ahead of time. All right, put the lid on and you guys will see. So I like you can make them into patties. It would be exactly like our recipe. But what I like to do is I like to kind of spread it out on parchment paper into crumbles. And that way they get nice and like kind of a little bit more crispier. It just lets kind of the heat cook them a little bit better. It's not as soft as our patties. So I really like doing it like this. If you're also going to do this with tofu, this is like an extra bonus recipe for you guys. If you crumble up some tofu, bake it on a low temperature with this crumbled up in between, it is so good. I need to make a recipe video on that. That is really, really awesome. So just like, spread them out a little bit evenly, give a little space in between. They will bake, and then you get these like awesome little sausage crumbles, right? Super simple, and really like all that flavoring comes from the seasoning. So make sure you put enough seasoning in. And you can make this recipe into like a burger. It can be a sausage patty. It's just super simple and easy. I love it. And so my idea for this recipe was to do like a cornbread stuffing with the sausage, the plant-based sausage that I make. And it just makes it such a nice texture because this is a little bit crispier because we cook it ahead of time. And then you have the cornbread, which is delicious. And then we're going to put like a sauce kind of liquid on top to kind of melt the two together. And also you can play around with what vegetables you like. We will also add like 4 ounces of chopped mushrooms sometimes. You could add celery. You can add, we put a red onion in here this time. I just kind of like play around with whatever I have in the refrigerator. Green onion's great. So see what your family likes, and you can go from there. Now you can, of course, leave this part out if you just want cornbread stuffing, but I really think it elevates it to a new level, and it gives you a little bit of extra beans and all that into the fold. So why not? Try it this way. This is definitely how we're doing our stuffing this Thanksgiving. All right, pop that into the oven and you're good to go. So part 3 is making this kind of sauce that will go over top of it. So that's just a little bit of non-dairy milk, a little bit of vegetable broth, 1-to-1. You don't want too much sauce because then it becomes too wet, and you don't want too little because then it becomes too dry. There's really a fine balance that I had to work with to find it. I recipe tested this one quite a lot. We ate a lot of cornbread stuffing, and this is our favorite. So I also added in a little bit of lemon juice. Super simple. This we just, I put it in a mason jar. I'm going to put the lid on and shake it up, so it's super simple. I put in a little bit of nutritional yeast. We have some more seasonings and some oat flour. And like, you can play around. If you don't like that seasoning, you can play around with a different seasoning. Really, you can leave it out. It's totally up to you. I like the oat flour because it helps thicken it just a little bit. All right, put your lid on, shake it all up. Super simple. I just shook it for like a minute, and then it's all about assemblage. So we are like almost done. I know that this seems like a little bit more of a complicated recipe than my channel is used to, but it's worth it. It's so good. And, it's not too bad. You could make a couple things ahead of time. You could definitely make the sausage ahead of time and the cornbread. So putting it together would be a piece of cake. All right, in a pan, you're gonna crumble up your breadcrumbs. Now, I could have just crumbled it up and used that pan for everything, but because I'm doing this for you guys and it needs to look pretty, I did it in a glass pan. All right, so just take your cornbread, you can crumble it up. I try to make it smaller than these pieces here, you'll see in a minute. And it's so good, it's really good. And you can play around with spiciness if you are having more. This is more like of an adult stuffing. If you like spice, you can add some spicy seasonings to this as well. That's really awesome. You can put in so many different things. You can do peppers, you can do lots of different kale, lots of different vegetables too. So really I just give you like the blank slate and then it's endless for the amounts. So I crumbled it all up. Super simple. You get your kids involved. This is a great one for them. All right, and take the sausage crumbles out, and then you can just put those in there. Get them all in there, and then I put red onion in there, and again, you could put whatever the kind of vegetables you like, totally optional. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna pour on top the liquid, and then I just take a spoon and kind of mix in everything. You can, just to kind of help it out. I find that this is the perfect amount of liquid. If you find that it's too dry for you, you can add more. If you find that it's too wet, it's not too wet, so don't worry. It would be on the conservative. I think it's like the perfect balance between it having like a nice crust to being still like moist inside. So, you know, try it this way and see if this is what your family likes. It was a really hard time getting to this nice balance. Some are too moist and you know, you want a little bit of texture crust, but then still be soft on the inside. Personally, for me, that's the best stuffing. All right. I do top mine with tinfoil to start with just because I don't want it to brown too quick. So throw some tinfoil on top, bake it. The last 10 minutes we can remove the tinfoil and you have this gorgeous brown topping and this beautiful inside that you can scoop out. It's just so good. I like to have a little bit of our gravy on top of it, or really, let's be honest, Thanksgiving's like a whole mash of a plate of food, so you kind of, I don't mind like a little bit of everything. So our mashed potatoes with this is great. You could do cranberries, lentil loaf with gravy. It's so perfect. So I hope you guys will make this, and I'm so happy you guys stuck around and joined me, but this one definitely is such a keeper for Thanksgiving. Well, I hope you guys will make this recipe. It's just a different spin on stuffing, and you can change it up in so many different ways. You can also make these sausage patties a little bit more spicier if you want to add some heat, but it's just super good. I love it. We eat it with, I like kind of doing like a whole platter of a plate, you know, for Thanksgiving, so like gravy on everything. So it's really good if you have some gravy as well. I highly suggest making gravy with it. But it just like checks all the stuffing boxes for me. And also I like a kind of like an in-between stuffing where it's not super dry, but it's not super like mushy. And this is just like the perfect in-between amount I found. If you like it a little bit more on the softer side, you can definitely add more liquid. And I would definitely not add any more if you like it not super, I keep saying mushy, but not super stuck together. I like it right in the middle, and this just hits it home for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave us a comment if you make it. Again, it's really good with a gravy on top. And I will see you guys next time for a new recipe. So make sure you subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys real soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.